Good evening, Norcal Karters. This is Jason, and it's December 20th, 2021. And there's a lot going on. A lot of good stuff going on. So a lot of us are in the off season. I know a lot of the NorCal teams are actually getting ready for 2022. But yeah, there's just a lot of excitement going on, and there's really no off season. So let's get into it. So again, it's December 20th, 2021. And before I forget, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. On our webpage, norcalkarters.com. That's Karters with a K. norcalkarters.com. And we also have, again, the weekly podcast. So starting tonight, this is going to be the Quick Kart podcast. So these are just either the past events that just happened last weekend, no recaps or anything else, just boom, 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 go through the order, and then the events coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So if your club is missing from these updates, reach out to me. And the goal of Norcal Karters is to have all the tracks listed online, and to help pay for some of the added stuff we're doing. So now we are live streaming. We started the podcast last year. We're growing our YouTube page. So to help pay for a lot of that, we do offer sponsorship packages. So once again, we're going to try to put all the tracks on there for free, basic listings. And if you want extra attention in the podcasts or on videos or our new live stream, then we have packages available for you. So reach out to us. So, speaking of sponsors and supporters, we'd like to thank Gorilla Barbecue, gorillabarbecue.com. They're out there in Pacifica in the Red Caboose, and they're also an integral part of the karting community and the Track Magic Owners Group. So Gorilla Barbecue, thank you for your support. We also have GFC Karting, gfckarting.com. Gary was one of the very first NorCal shops to come to me and say, hey, I want to support what you're doing. And at that time, I really didn't have banner ads or anything else. Now I do. But at the time, I didn't. And I go, well, let's put you on the race calendar. So if you visited the norcalkarters.com calendar at any point last year and you were wondering why GFC was on the different event dates, it's because he sponsored the show. And we put his race calendar on our calendar so people going to the track could see, oh, wait, well, I'm going to Sonoma next weekend. Gary's going to Sonoma. So it's, if you need to pick up parts or anything else, then there's a shop at the track. And last but not least, extrakartparts.com. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Again, Gorilla Barbecue, GFC Karting, and extrakartparts.com. We definitely appreciate it because the little money that comes in, it definitely goes a long way because it helps offset all of our costs. And like I said, we recently added the live stream. So once a week, we'll be live streaming. And it will be live on Facebook, live on YouTube. It just, again, a lot of good stuff going on. I'm pretty excited about it. And we have the Rok Sonoma calendar, the Rok Sonoma 2022 calendar. It is live on norcalkarters.com. We are working on the Prairie City karting calendar. So their 2022 calendar is out. And if you missed it, we did a podcast a couple days ago, and we ran down the 206 and the two-stroke weekend for Prairie City. If you missed it, Prairie City will be doing 2 event weekends again. So they'll have the 4-stroke / 206 race weekend. They will also have the 2-stroke race weekend. So Donald was pretty happy with how everything turned out. I know some people said, oh, you should combine all of the events. But the deciding factor for Donald was there really is, for the most part, different crowds on the 206 weekend versus the 2-stroke weekend. And also, he really stressed he wanted to be able to get out on Sunday at a decent time, and he wanted to offer a lot of laps to his racers. And if he was running, 10, 12, 15 classes, well, there's only so much time in a day. So where does that time come from? Less track time. So he said, forget it. We're going to keep them split up. It's a little bit more work for him and his staff because now he has to be at the track twice as much as usual. He has twice the expenses when it comes to corner workers and ambulances and everything else that goes along with it. But he felt it was going to be a better experience to have it split up to give the racers more track time. So by tomorrow afternoon, Prairie City will be live 100% on NorcalKarters.com on the calendar. And then also a couple weeks ago, I was a special guest on the Kart Chaser podcast, which those kids are doing a great job. And quite honestly, I'm probably the last person in NorCal that knew about them. Their name came up a number of months ago. I started looking at what they were doing. It's like, man, they're doing a good thing. And they just have a nice, fresh take on karting and some of the media stuff they're doing. So go check out Kart Chaser, and also check out the podcast we were a part of. It was, again, a really good show. And it actually motivated me to push my show a little bit harder. So we had a testing live stream a couple days ago, and we had a number of my buddies on there. We had Erik Gunderson from the Colorado Karter, Erik Maxfield, a longtime NCK Road Racer and a Kinsman Kart Club member, Darrell Tunnell from Team Visalia. He was on the podcast, and I'm going to do another podcast with Darrell because Darrell's doing great things with karting and with Team Visalia. So Team Visalia is not a commercial race team. Bear with me for a second. I'm just doing a quick sound check. Okay, so Darrell Tunnell's they're not a commercial kart team. It's a bunch of guys. They primarily race in the shifter class. They also have some tag guys out there. They have some younger cadet drivers out there as well. So as their team is growing, they're opening that up. But it really is just a network and a community of drivers that love karting. They support the CCKRA, Central California Kart Racing Championship. They support that group. And like I said, I'm going to have Darrell on again because what he's doing with karting is very important. They're growing the sport. They're keeping it fun. They're keeping it local. And there's not many groups out there you can look at and say, oh, yeah, more people are joining that group. So I think it's important to highlight people like that. I had mentioned Kart Chaser earlier. So we had Xander Clements on our little testing live stream show. We also had our videographer from Rok Sonoma, Jason Lauerea. He was on there. Again, it was really just a test live stream show, but it went really well. It went a lot better than I was expecting. We really didn't have any technical issues. Some of the feedback I received from some people was I was clicking back and forth on the screens between different guests. But the only way to learn a live platform is to use it. So I knew I was getting a little annoying with bouncing between the different screens, but I was just trying to figure out, okay, how is everything working? What are the tile views that we're getting? So again, there was a lot of good content on that test live stream. Steve Piggot joined us. So he's a racer out at Sonoma Rok in the 125 limited class. We're going to have Steve, and I told him he needs to get a bunch of his buddies together. We will do a live stream with Steve because while he was on the show, we were having connection issues. So that was, again, part of the test. What issues are we having? What sound issues are we having? And so his connection kept dropping. So I said, Steve, get 3 or 4 of your buddies together that are related to karting somehow. We'll give you your own hour. And so he's working on that now. And last but not least, we had Christian Cameron. So another Sonoma junior 100cc junior driver out there. So Christian Cameron joined us for that test live stream show. Technically, it is episode 1 on the live stream. And it was a lot of fun. So, and again, I'm going to mention Kart Chaser frequently because 1, I like what they're doing. 2, when you see somebody doing something and you like it and you're kind of in the same field, if you will, they push Norcal Karters to another level. And I'm not trying to be their competition. They're national. They cover a lot of national races. They started out with a focus on the X30 racers. A lot of the guys on his staff are X30 racers. So it's a different demographic, but it crosses over because it's karting, and they're doing a great thing. So it's like, I have no problem giving them love. So again, they're doing good things out there. So that's enough about our test live stream show. But like I said, we had a number of different guests on there, which it worked out really well. And we also did our first official live stream show on Friday. We had local driver Oliver Calvo, and he runs the 100cc senior class as well as X30. And again, Oliver Calvo is on the show, and he brought along Greg Bell from Leading Edge Motorsports. That's his team boss. And I have to admit, I didn't know who Oliver was. And the one thing I love about Norcal Karters is I like getting to know people. And I knew his name. I mean, he's a very accomplished karter. So if I didn't know his name, I'm completely missing out on my job. But I'm only halfway missing out on my job because I knew the name, but I didn't really know who he was. I didn't realize he had multiple Duffys to his credit. And he hails from Stockton. So Stockton, you can't really get much more Northern California as far as a central location than Stockton. So he's only 20 minutes south of me. So yeah, that was a good show. So I was able to learn more about Oliver Calvo. And then Greg Bell and we go back years. So there's not much more I'm going to learn about Greg as far as with about him personally, because again, him and I go way back in the karting stuff. But yeah, it's Greg Bell, Leading Edge Motorsports. And again, if you want to get your name out there, if you want to do a show, if you have a driver or somebody of interest that you would like to know more about, let me know. Again, it took my friend Ashley. She had to get Oliver hooked up with us because I have to admit I probably would have just passed by him, and not for any other reason, just not being familiar with him. For the longest time, I thought he was from SoCal. So that was the other part of it. I'm Norcal Karters. I'm not SoCal Karters. And when I found out he was from Stockton, I was like, oh man, I'm such an idiot. But those that you know me are like nodding your head and go, yeah, you are. So you got to be in touch, Jason. And that's going to be our focus in 2022 as well, being more in touch with different aspects of karting and Norcal Karters. So some of it might reach out to national stuff, and a lot of it's going to reach out more to, more, probably more of a Briggs focus for 2022. We're always going to highlight our sponsors. We're always going to highlight the places that are, paying us to be at the track for any particular weekend. So that just comes with the territory. But we are going to try to stretch our reach out and get to know more racers and individuals in NorCal karting next year. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. So that's everything new on NorCal Karters right now. And again, we have a new format. So the new format is try to get this show over in 15 minutes. So it's upcoming events. It's the last events in the week or two and quick updates on what's happening on NorcalKarters.com. So a lot of stuff has been going on with NorcalKarters.com in the past month, which is why I front-loaded the show with all that information. But as far as events coming up, January 15th, Blue Max Kart Club. They are having a swap meet. So Blue Max Kart Club out in Davis, California. They are having a swap meet on January 15th. That is on the calendar. January 15th in the afternoon/evening, Prairie City will be having their 2021 awards banquet. And also an awards banquet coming up, Rok Sonoma. They're having their awards banquet on February 5th. So right now, that's about all we have going on the calendar. If you have events that are coming up, please let me know. Now, if you're not a sponsor of the show, please let me know if you have the events coming up and if they're confirmed. If you're not a sponsor of the show, I want to make sure the events are confirmed so I don't have to go back into the calendar and do it twice. if you are a sponsor of the show, as you know, as soon as I get the info, I put it online. So please just understand and respect that process. And again, the NorcalKarters.com website, the calendar is open to everybody. So please send me your events. We also would like to take this moment to those kart clubs or promoters that supported Norcal Karters in 2021 or even longer. So we have Andy Saisman with the Challenge of the America Series. They kick off their first race January 26th and 28th. They've been a supporter of NorCal Project for a couple years now. Rok Sonoma, they've been a supporter of the site for a couple of years. Northern Nevada Kart Club, they've been a supporter. NCK Road Racers, they've been a supporter. CCKRA, they've been a supporter. And Prairie City Karting, they have been a supporter. So those promoters and tracks, we do appreciate it. If you listen to the show on a regular basis and you wonder why certain shows or tracks get more attention than others, that's part of the agreement. You help support the show, I help give you more love. So it's really a very simple business proposition. And to our private sponsors, Gorilla Barbecue, GorillaBarbecue.com, GFC Karting, GFCKarting.com, and ExtraKartParts.com. Thank you for your support. And real quickly, Norcal Karters on YouTube, Norcal Karters on Facebook, Norcal Karters on Instagram. And if you would like to donate to the Norcal Karters project, you can find the link in this podcast description or also on our YouTube page. And to wrap up the show, if we all bring one person in the sport this year, we will double in size. So if you're listening is like, oh, how do we do that? Send me a message. Reach out to me on one of my social pages or send me an email at norcalkarters@gmail.com. And with that, this is our new format. Mondays, we're going to knock out a quick 15-minute event schedule. Boom. That's going to be our format for 2022. And then later on Monday nights, we will do a live stream or a special guest podcast. So if you'd like to be featured on our podcast, send me a message. And with that, thank you, everyone. Have a great night.